Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. A video that was requested by more than a few people, actually, in the comments after we saw the skill fusion details for the OCTAGRAM characters, the second batch of skill fusion. And today, they told me to use OCTAGRAM Guy in Valor Cup because of his first skill. So before we go into that, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to TMFM for letting me, borrow and navigate his account because I don't have Guy level 100. I would be unable to do that showcase, so I needed someone who did. So thankfully, he has graciously just allowed us to go into a call and pretty much drive while I commentate these battles. But with that said, Guy's orb change, right? It went from a triple green to triple orange, just very generic. 3 greens to 3 oranges. And now it's all fire character orbs turn into oranges. So you could have a whole hand of green and you use a skill, and if they're fire characters, they're going to be all orange. So people are like, man, you could really break some stuff in Valor Cup if you have 3 frontline fire units. And I have some serious doubts about that. But because now I'm able to actually properly test it, we're going to see how quote-unquote broken that can be. So let's build a team and we'll jump into Valor Cup. Alright, we made this team. Now again, I have serious doubts about this, but we're going to try and make it work. So Xion, turns all the orbs to oranges, right? And she gives guaranteed crit and synergy to physical characters. Well, we're gonna make Summer Lumi useful again because she is fire and she is physical, so she'll get that. Plus she's got her own alt buff. We've got Guy. We've got Christmas Shizu for the fire buff. And then we have Fount of Wisdom Reaver in the back for a physical buff. And then we're going to bring free-to-play Hero because he will ensure that, just barely, that Lumi can get multiple orange orbs. So maybe on like turn 2 or something, we could send them all away after we're not going to have Xion, but let's go ahead and jump in and find out what happens. Okay, so we've got our front line full of fire characters, so let's go ahead and use Guy's orb change, on turn 1. Boom, and now this will be a full hand of oranges. So, cool. How much alt gauge do we get off of 6 oranges for Lumi right here? Let's take a look. I mean, okay, it's almost a full gauge, and, if we can do this again next turn, so we get 53 points back off this, which isn't bad. Xion's going to give us an extra 30 next turn, which means that we would have enough to then full orb change again. So let's go ahead and, send the orbs as we need to, take out the hero or something. Let's just get these orbs out, and we'll move on to turn 2. Turn 1 is what people were actually, caring about as far as, viability. So, because we're running Xion, we're going to have those extra 30 points. If we weren't running Xion, no, we would still have enough, right? Because it would cost 50 now. Yeah. Okay, so Lumi only has 1 orb here. That's not super great, but now we have 83 points. So now, what we can do is we could probably take Summer Shizu out for Hero, because he's still a fire character, right? And then we can use Guy's orb change again. And then, after that, we can send a few orbs over to Lumi. So 25, that takes up all of her points right there. This should get her EX ult, right? I just don't know how many points it's going to give us. So go ahead and send it. Yeah, there's an EX ult. It doesn't get us a Xion, though. So that's a problem. But let's go ahead and send anyways. So Lumi's alt buff, right, it gets stronger every time you use a protector. We have yet to use a protector because oranges do not give us jack crap for protection gauge unless there was a rule in place for Valor Cup. What a fantastic hand. And why is our... Who did that? Okay, never mind. Alright, so we have 91 points. So... I mean... We still have a couple turns of those extra 30. Let's spread the damage out with just... Actually, wait, hold on. Let's take Guy out of here and get that other Lumi orb in. Yeah, I don't care who. And then let's just send the Lumi normal orbs, spread the damage out. That'll give us, points. And then maybe next turn we can go ahead and nuke, because now we'll have a protector. So Lumi's alt buff costs 55 points. And I think we can then... No, we don't have enough to use Rimuru's buff. So we'd use like Christmas Shizu's buff here. Okay. So let's just verify that we don't have enough points for that, right? Let's click on the 80 for Rimuru. Yeah, no, we're 5 points shy. All right, so yeah, get Hero out of here. We'll bring in Christmas Shizu. We should have enough for both of her buffs. So let's use the Protector Shion first. That way we can get that extra stack of damage on Lumi's alt buff, which is now, I think, a 60% right here. Right? So now we can use, 60% plus the fire resistance. We can use Christmas Shizu's, both of her buffs, actually, because we have the points for it, which is an AoE debuff, which, again, we're an AoE team. So let's use that, yep. So we're going to have a fire buff, 30% fire resistance down from Christmas Shizu, overwrites Lumi's 10, and then we'll have a 60% alt buff and an AoE buff. So let's see, with all of this power, what Lumi actually does here. So let's send it and do some follow-ups. And is Lumi's ult on? Doesn't matter. Oh, it is. All right, cool. Okay, so I mean, if this can do reasonable damage, like, I'm not expecting this team to be ranked Valor Cup turn 3 worthy, right? But, is it actually viable? Turn 4 is good for 90% of players. I mean, that wasn't terrible damage right there. That wasn't terrible damage right there. Okay. So we did like 118 versus type disadvantage. We did 250 against someone with type advantage. Okay. All right. We're coming around. All right, let's see if we can get another team in here as a different example. And Lumi is 120, so she's got a lot of extra power from those stats and the extra alt damage. But let's see if we can come up with a different team. All right, we're gonna change up a little bit, right? We're still gonna use the front three, but we're gonna bring Hinata and New Year's Rimuru. New Year's Rimuru is already, the battery, the engine that makes the really good Valor team work with Shion, because he's converting a whole bunch of rainbow orbs. Hinata will be stealing. So here, let's see if we can actually get Shion on turn 3 and still do enough damage to make it worthwhile. Okay, so like before, we're gonna do the orb change on turn 1. We're gonna do, before we swap anybody out, because we need the fire units to be here, right? Lumi has to be up front for this part. But now, let's take her out for Hinata, and then we're gonna have to pray that she gets, at least 2 more orbs. Maybe she can only get 2 technically next turn, and we could still be fine. But we're gonna pray that she gets it, so then we can bring New Year's Rimuru in, and then convert all those to rainbows after we steal with Hinata. And then we can bring Lumi back in, and that, those rainbows will get us a lot of gauge, a lot of alt, and more importantly, protection gauge. So do we get lucky here against this Primal Demon team with Vengeance Raphael for some reason? We do get lucky. Incredible. Awesome. All right. So after the AI does its turn or whatever, we're going to yoink those orbs with Hinata. We're going to bring New Year's Rimuru in and then make them all rainbows. And then we're going to bring Lumi in, and we're going to have 6 rainbows of Lumi, which is more than enough for an EX alt, and the protection gauge, and the skill point gain. So we're going to be capped out, and turn 3, we should probably be able to replicate what we did with the last team, right? So, do we need the Lumi damage? I don't think we do, because I don't want to kill everybody. It's got the... What is Lumi's second skill again? It's the blue damage and the charm, right? Yeah, well, we don't need the charm, because we're going to get a butt ton of gauge for her. Yeah, no, let's just send the rainbows and call it good. Alright, so yeah, max points almost 2 Shion's right there. So that's very nice. Alright, and his New Year's Rimuru is dead. Awesome. And that brings in Bride Shuna, who is going to steal. Nope, it's not. Alright, cool. Alright, we're set. So we're going to have 130 points on turn 3 now. And let's use, again, Shion first to get that extra stack of damage for Lumi. For her alt buff. And then we'll just use the Shizu buffs and the Lumi buff, and we'll be matching what we did last, the one in the last clip, but on turn 3, which is, what people want to do in Valor, in ranked Valor specifically, is turn 3 damage. It's just we don't have a lot of defense here, but let's see, what the nuke looks like here. And, 170, 168. That's very good damage. Okay. That's not terrible. All right. So the whole crux of this is that you really, really need New Year's Blessing Shion, right? Because you need to have those extra 30 points to really, drive the team and set you up properly. You need a triple orb stealer for this. You can get around it, as we showed in the first clip, so I'm just doing it again and pushing to turn 4. But if you don't have a protector that gives you that free 30 points, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's show how difficult that is in this next clip. Okay, we're going to take the EX characters out. We're not going to have a protector that gives us a free 30 points on turn 2. So we're going to have to make do with a few different things. And this is what we have come up with. I'm using the Royal Wii right now. So Toa, still an orange protector, gives 40 points when you use her, but still changes to 6 oranges. Guy, we swapped Lumi for Velzard, because Velzard is, the old, not EX version of a good AoE fire DPS. Shizu's still here, because she's fire and she's buffing. We brought the hero, and we brought Earth Benimaru, because he also has a double orb steal. So, in theory, if we take Velzard out turn 1 after we orb change, we would have 2 orb stealers in the back, and 53 points to work with. Let's find out how well that works. Alright, so, same thing. Turn 1 orb change with Guy. We got all our fire units up front. Velzard then goes the hell away for the hero. And then we have both her and Benny in the back. And we'll just send these 6 oranges. We'll get the 53 points out of it. And we could either kill or very much take away that masked hero who's gonna die, apparently. Perfect. So now, with 53 points, hopefully we get a nice hand for someone to steal. Alright, we can steal guys. Perfect. Oh, they put a burn on. Oh, no. What are we going to do? Okay. Perfect. Alright, so Earth Benny in for Guy. And then we'll steal orbs. And then I'll take 2. And then we'll bring Velzard in for Benny and take that last hero orb. And do we get a protector right here? It'd be cool if we did. I feel like we should. We totally do. Okay, and we get her alt. And she's not an EX character, so she doesn't need, a butt ton of alt gauge. So, that works. Let's go ahead and send it. Oh, that Milim is weak. Alright. Okay, so, we have made it work, technically. Shion, Toa is no longer giving us guaranteed crit. What is this RNG? What is it? TM, I'm sorry. I stole all your Jubilee RNG for this video. Okay. Well, we have 71 points plus the 40 that we're going to get from Toa. And that will allow us to use... So we could either use the... So that's what, 111 points right there. So we could use the crit and we could use the fire buff, or we could use the fire buff and Velzard's buff and the AOE debuff. Let's do that. So let's use the fire buff now and the AOE buff, or AOE debuff, I guess, from Shizu. Yeah, and then we'll use Toa since we have her. Change this all to oranges. Not that it really matters. And then we can skip that. And then we can use Velzard's little tiny buff right here. And we could bring Benny in for the hero, actually. Hold on, just in case. Just in case. And then we'll use his orange buff, because there's damage on it. Yeah, 35% orange damage. All right, now we'll send the ult. So we're still on turn 3. We don't have EX characters, but we have, a decent amount. And Velzard has, an attack buff? She has a small ult buff. She's got the fire buff. We've got the fire resistance down. So it's not like she's incompetent at doing damage. She's just not an EX character, right? She came out Christmas of 2022. And we do 49k. Okay, well, that's not great. Okay, well, that's not great. Hey, I mean, if you're not getting super sweaty in Valor Cup, technically this can work. I think the moral of the story is that technically, yes, Guy can work in Valor Cup for high-level viability in ranked Valor if you have all the other necessary components for the New Year's Blessing team, which is almost no different than what everyone else is using with Dark Millum, because in the end, you still need a triple ult swapper, and you still need New Year's Blessing Dreamer for the rainbows. And then at that point, it doesn't matter who the fuck your nuker is, or what your turn 1 looks like, because there are ways to get around it. But, okay, we have tested it, I have seen it, it can work. You just need a very specific setup to make it work at high levels. If not, and you don't really care about Valor Cup, then yeah, Guy can technically make your life a little bit easier. As long as you have, 3 fire units up front, which is his only major restriction. So if you don't have any fire units, then you've got a problem. But the comments asked, and we delivered, and I think we delivered in a decent way. I mean, we did damage. We did damage cap in what would have been in ranked Valor, and we did it in 3 turns. You still need a whole butt ton of setup for it, and you still need very specific units, but we did prove that it is certainly viable. So let me know what you guys think about this, and if you have any other team comps you want me to try using with that's not this, God forbid. But that's it from me. Take it easy, guys. Thank you, TMFM, and I will see you all later.